Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
One of my favorite players that was added late last year, defensive tackle T.Y. McGill, veteran, journeyman, brings a lot of experience to the 49ers and showed that last year, literally signed off the street and playing lots of snaps within a week. Now, he is 30 years old and has been around the league for a long time. We'll go through some of the transactions, and it's almost comical a point how much he has been around the league. But he finds a home here with the 49ers that I think is fitting. Now he's at number 58. That's where we have him on this roster countdown. 53 make the roster. We're getting into these guys that are veteran-type players that will play a significant role, but it's a coin flip if they make the initial 53 or not. Now, just because Ty McGill might not make the 53-man roster does not mean he will not be a factor for the 49ers or another team that is perhaps going through some defensive tackle, just injuries, whatever else. But depth is needed here. Shout out to the man, Josh, the 49ers guru, for all the background research on this. Now, Ty McGill wears jersey number 96, and he's interesting. 6 foot 295. He's almost an identical height and weight of Javon Hargrave. Undersized, shorter, plays with great leverage, not your massive human being like you have in a Javon Kinlaw or Eric Armstead or even DeForest Buckner. Small, powerhouse, compact. That's what he brings. 33 and 33/4-inch arms, long arms. 4'9", 640. Like, the dude can move, explosive, change the direction. He had a 7.003 cone. That's better than a lot of wide receivers. So you've got this really tight, compact, explosive frame. His tape has gone down considerably. He's 30 years old. Let's be real. He's got a lot of miles on the engine, but he still has a role to play in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. 25 bench press reps at 225 pounds. That's impressive. Now, he was an undrafted free agent coming out of NC State. This is his 8th NFL season. Grew up in Georgia, Wayne County High School, which is in Jessup, Georgia, which is southwest of Savannah. Good food down there. Now, he was captain of both his high school football team and basketball team at Wayne County High School. Now, that was a little while ago, a little over 10, 12 years ago now with college and all that stuff. But he came out all regional selection his junior, senior year of high school. He did a lot to qualify to where he went, goes to NC State. You check his Twitter or his Instagram, still very adamant about NC State and follows it very, very closely. And that's kind of the number one thing he talks about is his NC State guys. And it makes sense. Whenever you look at his NFL ties, kind of hard to have allegiance to an NFL team when he's just been with so many of these. He was an undrafted free agent for the Seattle Seahawks. Goes to the Colts for 2 years, Browns for a year, Eagles. He's been on the Eagles twice, 2018, then in 2020. Interesting enough, he was teammates. He backed up Javon Hargrave and Hassan Ridgeway, who's now gone for the 49ers. So there's some ties there. Chargers for 2 years, Vikings for a year, and now the 49ers, which this will be his second year. And last year he came in. We had all those injuries to the defensive tackle position. You picked him up after scrap heap, very similar to what the Niners did with Tayshaun Gibson on the back end of the defense. They did the same thing with Ty McGill, T.Y. McGill on the front. And, penetrating defensive tackle, more of a disruptor than a playmaker, but gave us some really good snaps. Now, if we look at let's back up. Let's look at his entire NFL collective stats. They're not the most impressive. Remember, this is his 8th NFL season. 43 career tackles, 5.5 career sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 23 quarterback hits. That's probably his best metric. 3 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, 1 safety. He's got 3 tackles in 4 postseason games. He's a role player that's going to be on the back end of your defensive tackle depth chart that can give you meaningful snaps on long drives or penalty-ridden drives that are going to get, that 12-13 play. He can come in and get you some good snaps. Now, let's just look at 2022. He played 216 defensive snaps for the 49ers. 11 pressures, no sacks. 2 quarterback hits, 9 hurries. Not bad. 11 tackles for us last year, 4 missed tackles, which is really, really not good. Especially with somebody with long arms and that strong upper body, you don't expect that. And it was a little bit of an anomaly for his career. He finished with a 26% missed tackle percentage last year. That's one of the things that's got to get fixed. 8 solo stops, that's good. Did have 2 penalties. Now, his PFF scores, not great. 45 defensive overall grade, 48 against the run, 27 tackling, that's the red flag, 55.5 pass rush, 59.5 coverage. They had the big man dropping into some zone drops. If he can fix his tackling and just kind of stay where he is, he's an NFL player that can get you snaps. Do the 49ers want T.Y. McGill to get 200-plus snaps? No. But if you got him about 120 snaps with some special teams work and fills in whenever there's some injuries or somebody's banged up, that's what you want with him. And that's kind of who he's been for his entire career. The most snaps that McGill has ever had in his entire career was in 2016 with the Colts. I think that was his sophomore year. 302 snaps. That's just kind of what it is. Now, whenever I say he's a journeyman, I know I listed all the teams he's played for, but shout out to Josh. He went through every single transaction that he's officially had in the NFL. 105 career transactions in the NFL for McGill. That's crazy. Talk about the definition of an NFL journeyman. And the fact that he was undrafted, he never got that big payday. The Niners brought him in this year. 1 year, $1.1 million deal, $400,000 guaranteed. Now, what's that say? It says that, man, this is a coin flip player to make the 53. If there is one issue, one injury on the defensive tackle spot, this dude's making the roster. But if everybody stays healthy, he's battling out for that last spot. Now, his career earnings, and again, 105 transactions, he's made $4.1 million in his entire NFL career. No starts. He's never started a game. 55 career games played in, however. And so, what's the projection? What are the 49ers going to do at defensive tackle? Last year, they switched halfway through the season. Really, for the past 3 or 4 seasons, they've been keeping 5 defensive tackles and 6 edge players. They flipped it. They healthy scratched Drake Jackson, and then they went to 6 defensive tackles because of all the injuries. Javon Kinlaw, you can go on and on and on. Maurice Hurst, whatever. So they decided to bolster the interior and keep 6 defensive tackles. Are they going to do that again this year? I don't know. Because let's look at the defensive tackle depth chart, which, and I've said this a lot this year, I truly believe that defensive tackle is the best positional unit that the 49ers have and could be, definitely top 3 in the NFL. There's some other good groups out there, but none better than the Niners. If you don't have the Niners one, that's okay. You definitely have them top 3. I don't care who you are. You look at your starters. You bring in Javon Hargrave. You pay him $21 million a year, double-digit sacks last year. Incredible. You pair him up with Eric Armstead, who's just Mr. Do-It-All. Just such a solid player against the run, pass, whatever you want. Were the sack numbers what you wanted? No, but go watch the playoffs. He had the most sacks in the playoffs for the 49ers that wasn't even close. You go back to the playoffs in 2021. Guess who was the best defensive player? Eric Armstead. The dude shows up, battled a little bit of injuries last year. Dude just shows up when it matters. Now, behind them, here's what's crazy. These guys were basically starters last year. Javon Kinlaw was supposed to be the starter, got banged up, struggled. Kevin Givens was the actual starter week 1. He was our starting defensive tackle. Now he's number 4 or 3 on the depth chart, depending on how you word it. Then I think all 4 of those guys are locks. Kinlaw's not going anywhere because rookie contract. You don't get anything if you cut him. I think he means more to the 49ers than he would another team. He's got to kind of prove it. Kinlaw's not going anywhere. Now, those are the 4. So if the Niners only keep 5, that means one of the following is going to make it. Kalia Davis, 6th-round draft pick last year. They put him on the medical red shirt. He's back, penetrating dude, exciting player. They're going to give him a chance. T.Y. McGill, undrafted free agent. Spencer Waggy, we did a whole episode on him. Alex Barrett, been with the Niners forever. And then even Kerry Hyder, who the Niners pushed inside last year, even though he was a career edge guy, where's he going to be this year? So if the Niners are keeping 5 defensive tackles, you've got 4 dudes, maybe 5, fighting for one spot. If they keep 6, now you got a 50-50 shot. I like this guy. Great depth player. I do not think that it's probably feasible that he makes this roster and stays on it all year. I mean, he's got 105 career transactions. He's 30 years old. There's going to be some bouncing up and down. But I'm excited. I'm glad that he is here. Just more depth to a great position. And I'm excited to see what he can bring, because what makes the 49ers defense so great, and there's a lot of things we could spend an hour talking about that, the depth that they have up front allows your linebackers to be what they are. And they are the best in the NFL. So for T.Y. McGill, excited to see what he can do in his age 30 season. Hopefully he doesn't have too many more transactions and we just keep him. But we'll see what we got. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.